Today is Wednesday, the 18th day in the month of June 2025. Time runs faster than you think. 18th is already here. Welcome to Family and Values on Galaxy Television, where we are reaching out for the start. Good morning to you, wherever you're watching us from. It's top of the morning. Oh my goodness. Family and Value runs Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. just like we're on your screen this beautiful morning. It's a show that talks about your family, my family, everything that has to do with your family, your relationship, the controversial topics you don't want to talk about it on the show. We dissect it here with our guest. And of course, you know, I am Princess Joy Ayo Abu, my name, my culture, my heritage. Don't worry, I said it on Monday that I'll be rocking this boat all alone because Olori AJ Mama Gen Z is on leave. Yes, she's resting. You know, we used to say it on the show, rest. So she has taken a bit of her time to rest. That's why it's Mama Gen Z. Everybody asking, I've not seen her. Where is she? She is resting. And we know that once she's done with resting, she'll return back healthy, strong and active to engage with you. So worry, the show promises to be very interesting. Of course, it's Wednesday. Come on, when we talk about Wednesday on the show, you know what we discuss here on the show. All right, I have a birthday shout out here from Olori. She's sending a birthday shout out to Ayobami Adebayo. I got that name very well. Ayobami Adebayo. And this is from, she's also sending a birthday shout out to Damilola Lakinde. Mother and daughter, happy new age. So it's a mother and daughter celebration. Olori is wishing you happy celebration to you. Oh my God. And this is also wishing Klupak happy birthday from Olori AJ Mama Gen Z here. So she's sending her birthday shout outs to you and to everyone that is celebrating, having wedding anniversaries. Family and Values celebrates with you. We love you, we appreciate you, and we know you're going to have the very best of the time. All right, let's go on our mini feature, and when we return, the conversation will start because it's serious business this morning. Don't get anywhere, we'll be right back. In future. Yesterday we talked about limitations in comfort zone, and this morning we will be talking about building identity in marriage. And this goes to everyone, whether you're a male or female, married, about getting married. What is your identity in marriage? A lot of people get married and after a while, it refers to my gender. Let me talk about my gender. You know, we have prospects, we have business enterprises we want to go into. But once marriage sets in, kids come in, it's like everything is left behind. You've lost your identity. And so people are in marriages and they are feeling like, have I lost focus? Well, this morning we will help you build that identity back and make you understand that marriage is just an aspect of your life. There are other aspects to which you can grow and do that. And this morning we have on our very first time on our show this morning. The last time she was too conscious, too busy. When you see people that are very busy, you know them. When you see entrepreneurs that are busy, but this week we have the pleasure of having her here in our midst. Let's give it up for Anita Imabong. You're going to pronounce your last name so I don't bite it. When Mary was there, she said, no, pronounce the last name very well. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Just like I told you, you look so beautiful. When I saw you, cool, calm and collected. I want to be like you when I grow.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so my name is Anita Imabong, as you pronounced it, Amorigoye. Amorigoye. Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
so I am the CEO. I call myself the director of the AZA Center. And the AZA Center is an enterprise development platform where we support the growth of emerging enterprises, SMEs, and we even work with corporates, okay, in three distinct areas. We focus on access to finance, advisory services and consulting, and also capacity building.
Wow, that's a whole lot. I wonder how you're juggling all of that. But this morning we are discussing building an identity in marriage, and this is centered on digital entrepreneurship. How can women bring themselves out of that over comfort zone? I call it over comfort zone. A lot of people will just feel like, I'm okay just being married, but are they truly okay? Deep inside of them, there is that longing for an identity. And this morning, how can one maintain individuality within the space of marriage and still bring out personal identity in them?
Okay, so I think the first thing, let me tell you a certain trick that I do whenever I interview people, I ask them, if you were to look at yourself if you were to reflect, okay, and then look at yourself and say, at this point in life, where would you have been if you were thinking of this about 10 years ago? What would your desire to be like? Where? And then people would say, oh, I had hoped that at this time, I would love to do this and I would love to do that. And I'll say, okay, so where you are right now, are you achieving those goals? And when they say no, and I ask you, why? So I think the first step, okay, is to begin to be self-aware, okay, to reflect on, were these the goals that I set for myself at this point in life? And then the next question is why? A lot of times we're very engaged and involved in the moment that we actually do forget to sit back and reflect. So the first thing I think, for everyone that wants to build an identity is to reflect. No one knows you better than you except your God.
Yeah, except God.
And you had those dreams. You had those visions for yourself. You had the aspirations that you wanted to achieve. The first thing you need to do is sit down and ask yourself, where am I? And why am I here? Of course, when you ask true questions, you will get true answers because you're reflecting, okay? And then once you've been able to sincerely ask those questions and answer them and say, am I happy with where I am? Okay. Then you can move to the next level. So first thing I want to say is that there is nothing wrong with being a housewife. As far as I'm concerned, you are contributing, and the society needs more home builders right now because we've seen what is happening around. So, being a stay-at-home mom is it's needed. Okay. You're creating value in its own sense. And I don't think you should look at yourself any differently. But there are women, that, chose to invest this time in building the family and then move on to something else. That too is perfect. So whatever pathways you've chosen for yourself, I think the most important thing is to ask yourself at that moment, am I where I want to be? And if the answer is yes, then you're doing well.
Okay, now let's look at the fact that you said reflect from the past to where you are now.
Yes.
A typical woman who has given birth to 4 or 5 children and is looking at age, looking at time, looking at the fact that, can I still go back to school? Is it possible for me to start that business? Is it possible for me to build that dream enterprise I've always looked at for? What are the first steps they need to take? Aside realizing that, yes, I've reflected. Sometimes you reflect, but to take the action becomes an issue. You sit down, you do the paperwork, and you say, okay, tomorrow I will work on it. And then tomorrow stares at you and it's not. So what are those core steps that they can take after watching this? Okay, I guess do this first, and then leads them to where they want to go.
Okay, so still on the topic of self-awareness, I think you do well in your place of flourishing. So in other words, everyone, when you reflect or look deep inside, you identify areas where, I'd love to do this. Okay. Now, if it's entrepreneurial in that venture, the first question you're going to ask is, what are the things, because entrepreneurship means you have to create some form of value.
Sure.
So whether it's a social value in terms of impact or a financial value, okay, in terms of money, the question you need to ask is, what do I love doing that can create that value for me? Now that's entrepreneurial. If you're thinking of going back to school, where will I do well? You see, one thing in life is that the greatest failure is not doing anything. So if you remain stagnant where you are and say, I want to do this, but I'm afraid. I tell you, every entrepreneur is afraid.
True,
every successful person started from a place of fear. But, some people cultivate the energy that they use in being afraid to drive themselves. Okay. So if you are afraid, there's nothing wrong. You're just like every other person out there. Yes. So let that fear be channeled positively into positive energy to take the first step. You want to go back to school. What do you want to study? The first thing most of the time people do is begin to look at, do I have the resources? No. No. So even when we handhold entrepreneurs, the first thing we ask them to do is to think about the business they can do without 1 naira. Because when you put money or resources before you, it becomes a stumbling block. Build the idea first. So if you're thinking of a career, build the idea of a career. What career do I want to go into? What does it take? Do your internal checklist, okay? And then let money be towards the end of the list. That way you continue to take. And remember, every step, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. So every step moves you closer to your goal.
But you've been in the business of entrepreneur for a very long time. I'm sure you've come across women that would come to you complaining, "No, Anita, I've tried it here, it's not working. I've put in these resources, it's not working. I've taken these courses, it's not working." When they get to that point, what is always your ginger sauce that you give them? You know what? You've tried all of this, it seems not working. Why don't you try it this way? Because that boils down to building that identity they want. They want to carve out that niche for themselves. But it's like they are lost.
So, entrepreneurship is like raising a child. It is a baby on its own, and it demands from you just like a child. So, do you give up on your child when he's sick? Do you give up on your child if he's not doing well in school? What you do, you try to look for avenues and ways to help and support that child to grow. It's the same thing with entrepreneurship. You start a business, and for some reason, the business is falling apart, okay? You continue to seek ways to support that business. A lot of times what people do is throw back money inside. And then the frustration, yes, the good word says money answereth all things, but sometimes it's not money you need. Sometimes you need to sit back and innovate. Sometimes you need to be in an ecosystem or around people that can provide you with fresh ideas. Sometimes you need to step out, take time out, and build capacity within yourself. So I started out by saying everything starts from being self-aware. You started a business, the business failed. I cannot count how many that started the business and it succeeded the first time. Most people, their businesses failed. But what they did to succeed was to learn from the failure. So when I say failure is not bad. In fact, sometimes failure is good.
It's good. It helps you. It keeps you alert. It gives you
new
challenges. And you see new opportunities come out from it.
Perfect. So, but it now depends on how you embrace failure. So a lot of people embrace failure as negative. For entrepreneurship, failure can never be negative. It's a learning curve. So you sit back and you self-reflect and say, I know it didn't work out in the anticipated way, but what are the learning points I need to take out of this? And then you begin to build on it. Okay. So for women that have come to me and say, you know what, I'm at point 0. I don't even know what to do. What do you advise them? The first thing you need to do is go back and sit down and think, how did it go wrong? I mean, we women, we know how to think a lot.
We are critical thinkers, by the way.
Yes. So when we think, we don't think negatively. And when the negative thoughts do come, because they will come, surround yourself in an environment, right, with positives. Okay? Go around it. And the beauty of it is that entrepreneurship right now has become, so well embraced that you do have support systems around that you can speak to, you can draw strength from, and then you can learn. We're in the learning age where so much information is available. Go out there and even thank God for ChatGPT right now. Even Google, why did my business fail? And it's going to give you some answers that that can help you. So what am I saying? For women that seem that they have reached the end of the line for the business, or maybe they've just not gotten it right, I think the first thing you need to do is go back and reflect. There's an analogy I use for those that know how to drive shift stick. Whenever you want to accelerate, sometimes you need to step back to a lower gear. So this is one of those times that you will need to step back to a lower gear, right? And allow your engine, to build its capacity for you to take off.
Now, you talked about support system, and that's where I'm coming in.
Yeah.
How can most people identify support system? Sometimes you might be in an environment where you think you're talking to the right people, but at the end of the day, you're talking to nobody. So how can they identify support systems around them, within the communities, within the environment, so that they can have that identity as well? Now, some people don't strive alone. Some people need people to constantly push them, constantly remind them, oh, have you done this? How is the business going this month? Did you check on this? Oh, the family, keep that balance in for them. How can they identify support systems around them?
Okay, so thank you. We have a lot of associations, entrepreneurial centers like what we offer. And then you have your friends and family, okay? I think you should even start with the family, because we've been doing a lot of study on the success of businesses, right? And how it is rooted in family values. Great. So your support system does start from your family, okay? How well does your partner, your spouse, support your business? And where you cannot find that immediately, marriage comes with its own issues.
Sometimes your partner that you think will support you is the worst person to talk to when it comes to
Okay, I wouldn't call it worse, but I'll just say maybe they have divergent views. Okay, yeah. So where your partner, right, is not available, to give you that support. Family, friends, as a woman, don't leave your girlfriends. Don't leave your girlfriends. And then where you don't have that, then you can now go to the semi-formal or even formal platforms, okay, out there that do offer mentorship, that do offer coaching, that do offer capacity building initiatives, okay? And I always tell women that want to start or restart businesses, right, that you should start first of all by building your internal capacity.
Very important.
Because that's what's going to give you the long run. You're going to face moments of family pressures,
sure,
financial pressures, friend pressures, business pressures.
Very true.
They're all going to come on you. So you need to first of all lay that foundation for yourself before you start. You can't give out what you don't have. So build yourself internally. Be self-aware. You are okay. How you are, who you are. God made you good enough. Go out there and then begin to release the good inside of you, okay? And then where you still need help, to bring that internal you out of you, that's when you begin to embrace the support systems around you. But sometimes you need to have that pep talk to say, I am good enough. I can do it, okay? I have what it takes to do it. And even when I think I don't have, all around me is available.
We talked about challenges, and that's why I want to come. Sometimes now we are referring to both genders. Sometimes you want to push personal goal,
yes,
personal development, you want to start something new, you want to relocate for a better future, and it comes with a lot of challenges. In marriage, how do you bring that together where your partner does not feel like you are running away or you want to divide the family when it comes with different views? Sometimes it's okay, I want to start a new career, and the woman is saying, no, we have bills, and it's going to take a whole lot from. So how do you overcome those challenges while passing your message and still achieving personal growth and development?
Yes, so sometimes that can be, but so let's look at it from the wisdom book. The wisdom book talks about the moment you chose and you've taken that path to become one, you are one. So I've not seen one human being with two heads. So what that means is that you need to find a way to converge. And marriage really does come with some trade-offs.
It does.
But the beauty of it all is that whenever you make those trade-offs, right, it pays in the future if you decide to wait on it. Okay? I don't have an understanding spouse. He wants me to give up on my dreams. Okay? What other ways can you pursue your dreams without having to use this pathway you've chosen. I think, if we're able to identify or innovate, life is really about innovating or creating those new pathways that can help you achieve what you want to achieve. I wanted to go for a course. I knew I couldn't leave my spouse that moment. And I looked for an online option and I got it. So these are some of like the trade-offs that you can begin to do. But if really and truly that is your dream, okay, you would find a way to grow. You're nursing little children. Your spouse says, stay at home and nurse the children. Hey, thank God for technology. We're in an age where women sit at home in India and they are IT, they provide IT, they code, they are coding and they have full-time jobs as stay-at-home moms. So I think, you always at this moment need to not negotiate, but I'll say parry your ideas together so that you can continue to be one. Because a broken home has its impact on everything around you, especially your business.
That's true. A broken home has an impact on everything around you, especially your business. So when you are starting that idea, find ways around it. Let's go on our word of mouth. We'll be right back and stay tuned at the conversation. Have conversations like this. It's not nice for you to watch it all alone. Please download the Galaxy mobile app so that you can watch it on the go. And we are streaming live on Facebook, so you can share this conversation on all your WhatsApp platforms. These are meaningful conversations that will help you in business, in marriage, and generally. And this morning we are still discussing building an identity in marriage. Okay, so now I want to ask this question. If they're tricky now.
Mm-hmm.
How can partners support and encourage each other in achieving their goals without affecting the family values? Everybody have a family value. There was a time on the show we talked about long distance relationship and how it has disfigured the family setting, where a man just moves and says, okay, I'll join you later. 3, 4, 5 years later, the woman is not forthcoming because of distance. And so there is a gap. Now, for a woman who is pursuing a career abroad and wants to leave, wants to jackpot, let me use the general word, and the husband is saying, no, you can't do that now. It's going to affect the family. And she's like, I want to because it's my passion. It's what I want to. It's personal growth. It's having her own identity in that marriage. How does she go about it? And how can the partner encourage her without it affecting the family values that they have built?
So first of all, there is this misconception. Fulfillment is never abroad. Fulfillment is within you. A lot of people, I know, they chase going to foreign countries for new prospects, right? But the truth about it is that, like I said, you cannot give out what you don't have on the inside. If you don't believe that, don't get me wrong, a lot of people have passed through quite a lot in this,
sure, yes.
And then they believe that there are better prospects. For people who believe that and pursue it and it succeeds, perfect. But the question is, for you to pursue your dream abroad, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, the dream that you're pursuing, okay, is it based on a location?
Location, that's another thing.
Or is it based on what you have on the inside? I'm a very self-aware person, and I believe that if I'm succeeding, I can succeed everywhere. And maybe that's why, despite opportunities, I've chosen to stay here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can, for me, you can achieve success anywhere. And I gave an example where I wanted to do a course. I felt that the course would support, what I'm doing as an entrepreneur. And I saw perfect schools abroad, and I met and that was part of my career, chasing my career. And I spoke with my husband, and my husband said, I'm not sure this is the time for us to be separate. And I looked for an alternative. So second thing again is why women, there's a misconception that women do continue to give and give
without getting back. Yes.
But when you look at it from that perspective, that I'm always giving, you feel cheated.
Sure.
So a lot has to do with your mindset. If I look at it and say, why should I continue to be the one to make the sacrifices? It would always come back to me as a negative. But if I look at it and I say, is there a better way I can handle this so I can still achieve the goal and still manage or preserve the family values, you'll be surprised the kind of innovative ideas you can come up with. So challenges always come, right? And they always come to want to kill your dreams. As an entrepreneur and from the entrepreneurial perspective, right? How do you embrace solution providing? Because every entrepreneur provides a solution. So what that means is that start your entrepreneurship with yourself to say, how can I provide a solution to this? I don't want to break my home, but I want to chase my dreams. And then identify the various options you can choose. So I go back again to say self-awareness, sit back and reflect.
But Anita, I want to ask, now this is a bit tricky. Why do our gender give up on themselves easily? Sometimes that's why when I listen to motivational speakers say, oh, if you're a lady, if you're getting married, if the man does not want to support your dreams, don't go into that marriage, don't do this. We hear a lot, and it's making women feel like, just like you said, oh, I'm the one giving, why am I the one sacrificing? But why do women give up on themselves easily? We see a young girl who has prospects before getting married, and the moment she gets into that marriage, it's like she's lost. It's like something in her has just gone. You're seeing her years back and you're asking, what about this? She said, what about that? And then you're asking, what went wrong? Why do they give up on themselves easily?
Okay, so I would, first of all, let me attribute it to society. So societal values for the longest time has looked upon woman as the homemaker, the provider. In fact, if we look back in Genesis, the woman brought the apple. She's the one that preserves and keeps the home, okay? And then sometimes when women are faced with that decision to say, does it disrupt my functioning as a homemaker, or is the sacrifice too much? I look at it and say, maybe this battle is just too much. Let me stay back and then yield, okay? But on this platform, again, I'm calling on women to say, you don't necessarily need to make the 100% sacrifice. The first thing you need to do is find out, how can I balance the two of them? And women are very, very good in the balancing act. So leverage the potential that God has given you as a woman to say, there is a way. I may not know the way right now, but if I take time enough to meditate, to ponder on it, to ensure that I am not sacrificing, because at the end of the day, 60, 70, we hit 70, 80, family is what you fall back on. So it's too much of a sacrifice to sacrifice your family to pursue career. One day, it's family you're going to go back to. In the night, by 7, 8 p.m. after work, it's family you're going to go back to. So how can I balance the two of them? I mean, a mother knows how to take care of 4 children, cook for her husband, take care of the mother-in-law, do every other thing. You're perfect in that. Now balance it with a career. So I think, the first thing that women need to do is don't look at, your husband is not your enemy. In fact, your husband is your best friend at that moment because he's telling you, think deep. Draw on what you have on the inside. You can provide a solution. God made you a natural solution provider. So think deep. Draw resources around you. Research on it, and then you'll be able to find a way to balance both of them. It may not be a 50% balance, but hey, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Now, how do we deal with emotional circumstances? Most times you talked about balancing.
Yes.
And you're faced with business.
Yes.
That is crumbling. You're faced with a family you need to take care of. You're faced with the society looking up to you. Because just like the society has a very stereotypical way of thinking. Once they see a very promising entrepreneur person, they feel like, oh my goodness, this one is heading. And so there's a lot of pressure. You're carrying a load. How do you practice emotional balancing? So it doesn't get to that point to just say, I'm going for a vacation. I just want to let go. At that point, when it gets to that point, how do you prioritize your emotional well-being? Very important. It's still pursuing this career path or identity.
So hey, yeah. So a vacation does not mean a ticket to London or the UK or anything. A vacation could even be a retreat, a personal retreat back, even in your house. So I have, I learned something from a family that I stayed with sometime. And whenever the wife comes back home from work, and after so much pressure and everything, she just goes to her room for 30 minutes and she tells the children, nobody call mommy. For 30 minutes, she has her me time. And she's able to balance herself at that moment to come back and serve. You need to preserve yourself before you can cater to the others. Even in the plane, they say fit your mask first. So for women that you're faced with so much pressures, all coming down and drawing yourself, fit your mask first. Take some time out. Have a breather. Do your vacation in your room, okay? And just lock the door. In fact, go to the bathroom and then say, nobody come in here for 30 minutes. And then you'll be surprised what that 30 minutes can do for you. Take a walk. If you're in a place where it's safe enough, take a walk around and just do a 30-minute leg walk. Clear your head, come back, you can give to your family. But, a lot of times women think we are not Wonder Woman. We're not Superman. You can't do everything. You are not omnipotent. So you can't do everything. But the little you can do, first yourself, fitting your mask first, and then begin to touch everyone, just one at a time. They begin to resolve themselves with time. That's what I have seen. And then I'm speaking from my personal experience. So you have a sick child. You have a challenged job. You have a demanding spouse. You have pressures. You have bills all around you. What do? Shut it down and fit your mask first. 30 minutes, 1 hour, clear your head. Then you begin to take them one at a time and say, I'm not going to solve everything. But if I can take one step here and just across, over time, every one step over time, you find out before you know, you've resolved some of those challenges.
Now, coming back to the entrepreneurial sector, how has the reception been like? How has women really embraced it? And the other gender, the male, how have they, sometimes they just started with to say, okay, women are redundant, they don't want to come forward. And it's seeming like women are the one now pushing forward and saying, no, we are going for this. But how has it been like working with both genders? Where can you place a percentage and say, okay, those people have a more receptive knowledge and they are ready to build? Which is easier to build? The woman that wants to start a business or the man that has a crumbling business?
So I'll tell you, and I think maybe this is from our genetic makeup. Men are more forward. Okay, so a man says, I want to do this. He's taking steps to do that, right? Women are not built that way. They are not made that way. A woman wants to do something and then she starts considering other factors too, because she wants to ensure she's naturally good at balancing things. So she wants to ensure that everything is balanced along the way as she goes. So they naturally do take some more time, to get to the point of a decision. Unlike a man just goes straight and whatever it is, we patch it up along the way. So that's been the experience. Okay. So naturally, women take time, to come to the point of decision, not necessarily out of, fear to do, but fear to ensure that her ecosystem around her is balanced. Okay. Nothing is suffering along the way. Okay. And this is just the way we've been made. So, I always say that men products can't be used for women. So when you want to take entrepreneurship and you're focusing on women, you need to understand the time factor, the emotional balance of it. Women love to express themselves either in the way they talk or the way they act, but they're very more expressive. Men are just, they take the decisions and go forward. So there are two different approaches. So if I am to look along the line to say, how has it been? I'll say women tend to take time to get to the point of decision, but when they are there, they're loyal. Well, men, they're quick there and, sometimes you need to now build that loyalty in them. So.
Because now, as we round up, I want to ask you this, because sometimes you look at the businesses, you look at everything around you and you feel like, okay, I'm done. Is there an age limit for one to start? Is there a particular point when we say, okay, I'm above this, I can't go into this business? Now, something happened. The former husband went back to school and she was giving thanks. And when I was watching that, I was like, oh my gosh. She said, at a point, she felt like she wanted to give up. Like 3 years became forever. Lecturers were, making her feel very bad. So, when you get to that point, is there a limit, an age limit? Is that the woman that or the man that is 60, 70, does he have prospects of starting? Can they start at any point in time when they take that decision or make that decision?
So the answer to that is a resounding yes. Okay. I'll just take myself typically. I had a career in the banking industry for almost close to 20 years. And after that, one day I just called my husband and I said, this is it. I feel that I want to pursue my passions outside the banking industry. And maybe it's also that year of decision when you hit 40, So at that moment, I just said, you know what, I think it's time for me to pursue other passions outside. And so I started business at 40. Now, typically, it takes about 5 to 7 years, okay, to build some level of stability. And that is the highest time when a lot of businesses fail. Typically, even by statistics, 85 to 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Now, when you want to start a business at a later age, there are certain things that the business will pull from you. It will pull energy. It will pull emotions. It will pull self-awareness, okay? And when we're starting at a later age, okay, sometimes the energy, you need to build more energy. You need to do a bit more. So that's why, based on understanding, people say try and start early so that if you're failing, you're learning from your failure early enough to start again. So I think, but at any age, yes. Why? Because what do entrepreneurs do? The first of all is they identify problems. They provide a solution. And then they make value, or they create value from the solution they've provided. And I mean, anybody can do that at any age, but just ensure that, the circumstances around you do support your ability to create these 3 steps.
Oh my goodness, I've learned a whole lot. While we round up, please, I'd love you to give your final words to our viewers, especially to everyone. I'm sure somebody just sent me a message and said, please, I need, there's your contact. But that's fine. All right, so please, your final words to our viewers as we round up today's show.
So, the drive for entrepreneurship is real. And one of the reasons while I do I've tasted on both sides, which is on the corporate side as well as on the entrepreneurial side. So what I will say is that for a woman that wants to go out or a man that wants to go out to pursue their dreams through entrepreneurship, right? The world is waiting for you. We don't have enough ideas to settle our 8 billion population. Take a step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. But the first step starts with you. Build yourself internally, and then you'll be able to showcase to the world what you have externally. Thank you.
Oh my God, build yourself internally, and you're able to showcase to the world what you have externally. When you see how those people succeed, it's because they've had the self-awareness. She started sometimes, she was key on it. Self-awareness, self-realization. We have always said it on the show. The moment you pick up and say, this is the time, that's the time to move on. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning. Thank you. I'm so honored to have you. All right, tomorrow is Thursday, and Family and Values is strictly a healthy Thursday, and tomorrow we'll be discussing sleep and its effects on life. You understand why you're saying sleep, right? Don't worry, when we have that conversation with our medical doctors, you understand why it's important to have some rest. I'll see you tomorrow. I am Princess Joy Ayo. I will stay blessed and stay safe out there. We love you. Cheers. Bye for now.